In the previous video, we already discussed the role of real interest rate in terms of clearing the market for goods and services, right? Here, we're just going to take, we're focusing on a different market, which is the financial market, to see if we can reach the same conclusion, okay? And so that's what we're gonna look at here. How does the market, the financial market, reach its equilibrium? Okay, and from this circular flow diagram, we already said at the beginning of the chapter that here, if the households do not spend up all their income, in other words, they save part of their income, then they would like to put their financial resources onto this market, right? That's so-called the private saving, because this is a saving from the private sector, okay? And the similar thing could happen with the government if their taxes exceed their spending or their purchases, okay? Then we said that taxes would be the revenue of the government, right? And if the revenue exceeds the spending, then there's public saving, okay? They would also like to put that into the financial markets, so it will generate more income, more revenue for the future, right? And so these are two components on the supply side of the financial market. On the demand side, it's going to be the investors, okay? So these investors, they really, they have a pretty good project, they're profitable, but they don't have enough money, if you would like to say it that way, right? Or they don't have enough resources to finance its budget, then they would go to the financial markets, okay? All right, now let's take a look at this, the mathematical expression of what we just discussed. So the private saving, S private, superscript private, equals Y minus T. Remember, this is so-called disposable income, right? Y is a gross income, T is taxes. So this is after-tax income, right? Minus consumption, how much they spend. So that's going to be, what's left for saving, right? And for public sector or the government, S superscript public equals their revenue minus their spending or purchases, right? And as we said before, if this is greater than 1, that's public saving. But if it's less than 1, greater than 0, then it's public saving. If it's less than 0, in other words, government spending exceeds its tax revenue, then it's public debt instead, right? If they're just equal, so this difference will be 0, the government is running a balanced budget, all right? Now, the national saving, here we use just the letter S, okay, which stands for national saving, would be the sum of private saving and the public saving, okay? And then we just plug them in here. So it's going to be Y minus T minus C plus T minus G, okay? Now here, once we open up the brackets, you would find that we have the minus T here, we have the plus T here. So they will be cancelled out. And then what's left over is just going to be Y minus C minus G, okay? Now, what is the economic intuition behind this? We're saying that how much a nation could save depends upon, number one, its output or income, right? The national income. And how much they consume, that's the national consumption. And how much its government spends, okay? Or you could say how much the government consumes, okay? So it's a total income minus how much the private sector spends and how much the public sector spends, okay? All right, And here we're going to introduce a new name for this financial market. We're going to call it the market for loanable funds. Okay? And as I just said, this market is where the national saving meets investment, or you could say where the private savers and public savers meet the investors. Okay. You probably want to know why we could not just call it financial market. Why would introduce a new title, the market for loanable funds? Now, if you like, I believe you could think about the financial market. You could consider this as a financial market. However, as the economist, looking at the long run economy, we would still, like to focusing on the real economy. So with this title, we can remind ourselves that, we're still looking at the real economy, the real things. In other words, when we think about saving, we would like to think about, this is our production exceeding the consumption, right? So what has been saved is the real resources instead of the monetary assets. Okay? And when the investors go to that market, what they really want is the productive resources instead of just money. Okay? So that's why we use this title. But as I just mentioned, technically speaking, if you later when we do the analysis, if you want to treat these as the financial markets, which you feel like more familiar or closer to your life, that's fine. Okay. All right, and this would provide us an alternative way to understand what role the real interest rate plays in the entire economy. So previously, what we discussed is to focus upon the markets for goods and services, right? And here we're focusing on the market for loanable funds. Okay, so it's a different market, but let's see if we are going to reach the same conclusion about the real interest rate. Okay. Now we still want to do three things. Number one, mathematical derivation. Okay. Number two, the graphical analysis. Number three, which is the most important one, the economic intuition. Okay. Now on the worksheet, which I'm going to post on Moodle, you will be able to see a numerical example, okay, and with a very specific mathematical expressions of consumption, investment, and other things, okay, and then we can work step by step to figure out the interest rate, okay. But we would also like to do some graphical analysis here, okay. So for the worksheet, we're going to discuss that during our virtual meeting. All right, so I'm not going to do that here on this video. But in the next video, we're going to start our graphical analysis, okay, to show you, the effect of government policy. Okay, more specifically, a change in taxes or a change in government spending. Okay, because once we understand the equilibrium, then we're gonna see, once something changes, what will be the influence of that change. Okay, but before we jump into our graphical analysis, I would use one video to help you refresh your memory about what I call the three-step analysis, which is a basic supply and demand analysis you should already learn in your introductory class. Okay, but here, because we're going to use it, so I think it's better for us to to go through that one more time. Okay.